Welcome back. This is Eric Bynum, and I'm here to talk about the research that I did through the database America History and Life with Full Text. Now, this database was a little bit lacking for the subject matter that I was looking for, which is baseball in Texas, especially minor league baseball. I tried branching out into, again, looking for barnstorming teams and whatnot, but the sources were kind of lacking in this database compared to some of the others. However, it did teach me a couple things that I want to point out here. One, several of the sources that I was really interested in were not available online, yet they were available through the interlibrary loan system that Liberty University has. That's something that I've used in the past through other universities, but have not really thought about recently. But this kind of reminds me that option is there. Another thing that I thought about as I was reading a couple of these articles that I found was that basically baseball is worldwide. Now, not that I had forgotten that, but one of the articles talked about baseball on the U.S.-Mexican border and kind of brought in the aspect of a lot of Mexican players playing within Texas and vice versa, with Texans going down and playing in Mexico, where baseball is quite huge. So that was another aspect that I had not been thinking about as I was doing previous research. A couple of the other sources that I really enjoyed that I found, one was from the East Texas Historical Journal, and it was about 3 Texans who helped shape modern baseball that are mostly forgotten. Now, I may argue the mostly forgotten because most of them are Hall of Famers, but the things that they did, even in minor league baseball here in Texas, were quite huge. One of them that they mentioned was Rogers Hornsby, who's from a little town called Winters, Texas, out in West Texas. And after his playing days, he came back and managed in some of the low minors here in the state. And there were a few articles from the same journal, the East Texas Historical Journal, that were not available online to read, but they were available through the interlibrary loan system that Liberty has. But I thought that was interesting that his name kept popping up quite a bit. Another interesting article that I found was about minor league baseball in Austin, Texas. There have been quite a few teams there, and I just really loved the title. It kind of caught my eye, and I had to read a little bit of it. But it's entitled "When Every Town Big Enough to Have a Bank Also Had a Professional Team." I mean, it was true. Back in the the 40s, 50s, even early 60s, so many of these teams had minor league teams. I mean, I look at the town that I grew up in, Temple, which currently has maybe close to 65,000 people, and that's the biggest it's ever been. Yet in the 50s, it had several minor league teams. We're looking at places like Waco. In the 50s, when it was much smaller than it is today, had these minor league teams. And so this was a good look at Austin in particular, with a lot of those teams coming through there, especially in the 50s and the 60s. While I was able to find some good sources, this is not a database I don't think that I would come to first or second, or it would be down in the list just based off of what I could find through my searches. I do feel that there are some solid sources here, just not in the quantity that I would have hoped. But I think it's still something that I would have to come back to when I start doing my research for my dissertation, in that there are some sources here, especially through the interlibrary loan system, that could be really good. So that's a lesson learned through this research. That's going to do it. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.